What if I told you that the single most powerful health habit you could start tomorrow costs absolutely nothing, takes less than 2 minutes, and most people over 50 have never tried it properly? And what if I told you that the reason your digestion feels off, your energy crashes before noon, your joints feel stiff first thing in the morning, and your skin looks older than it should, might all trace back to one thing you do, or don't do, in the very first minutes after you wake up? I know that sounds hard to believe. I know you've probably heard 100 health tips that promised big results and delivered nothing. But this one is different, and I'm going to prove it to you. Not with complicated science that goes over your head, but with something far more powerful. The truth about what is actually happening inside your body right now, while most people are still completely in the dark. So stay with me, because what you're about to hear changes everything. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong. When you wake up in the morning, you feel thirsty, maybe a little foggy, maybe your mouth is dry and your body feels heavy. Most people assume that's just what getting older feels like. They reach for their coffee, maybe pop a pill, and push through the day. But here's what most people don't realize. That foggy feeling, that stiffness, that slow, sluggish start to your morning, it is not aging. It is dehydration. A very specific, deep kind of dehydration that has been building up for 7, 8, sometimes 9 hours while you slept. And the way you respond to that dehydration in the first moments of the morning determines the entire course of your body for the rest of that day. Now, you might be thinking, I drink water. I drink enough. I'm not dehydrated. And that is exactly the misunderstanding I want to talk about today. Because what most people don't realize is that there are two very different types of hydration. There's surface hydration, the kind you get by drinking water with meals, with coffee, throughout the day. And then there's deep cellular hydration, the kind that reaches your organs, your joints, your brain, your blood vessels, your gut lining. And the only time your body can properly absorb that deep hydration is first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach, before anything else enters your system. Most people skip this window entirely, and they spend the rest of the day paying for it without ever knowing why. Here's where it gets really interesting. Your body is not just a machine that runs on food, it runs on water. About 60% of your entire body, your muscles, your organs, your blood, your brain, is water. And while you sleep, you lose a significant amount of it. Think about it. You breathe all night, you sweat, your kidneys keep working, your heart keeps pumping, and all of that uses water. By the time your alarm goes off, your body has been without water for 7 to 9 hours, and it has been working hard the entire time. Now here's the hidden mechanism that most people have never heard about. When you wake up dehydrated, your blood becomes more viscous. That means it becomes thicker, like the difference between water and honey. And thick blood moves slower. It carries oxygen and nutrients more slowly to your cells, your muscles, your brain. That is why you feel sluggish. That is why your thinking feels foggy. That is why your joints ache and your body feels heavy. But the moment you drink water, real water, in a meaningful amount on an empty stomach, something remarkable begins to happen. Your blood thins out. It flows more easily. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Oxygen reaches your brain faster. And within minutes, the biological cascade that wakes up your organs begins. Your kidneys receive the signal to start filtering. Your liver activates its detox cycle. Your gut gets the moisture it needs to prepare for digestion. Your lymphatic system, the sewer system of your body, begins to flush. This changes everything, and the effects multiply when you do it consistently, every single morning for 30 days. Now let me tell you something that affects people over 50 in a way that is almost never talked about. As we get older, our sense of thirst actually weakens. This is not a myth. This is a well-documented biological change. When you were 20, your body sent you strong, clear thirst signals. You felt thirsty, you drank water, your body stayed balanced. But somewhere after the age of 50, those thirst signals start to fade. Your brain's thirst receptors become less sensitive. You can be significantly dehydrated and feel almost nothing. No thirst, no dizziness, no obvious sign. This is why older adults end up chronically dehydrated without ever realizing it. And chronic dehydration after 50 is not a small problem. It affects everything. Your joints are cushioned by fluid. When that fluid decreases, you feel joint pain, stiffness, and discomfort. Especially in the morning when your body has been still all night. Your digestive system needs water to move food through properly. Without it, digestion slows, constipation becomes more frequent, bloating becomes a daily problem, and nutrients from your food are not absorbed as efficiently. Your kidneys need water to flush waste. Without it, toxins accumulate. That can contribute to brain fog, fatigue, and a general feeling of heaviness that most people just accept as normal aging. Your skin needs water from the inside to stay elastic and firm. Without it, skin becomes dull, dry, and far more prone to deep wrinkles. And here's the part that surprised me the most when I first learned it. Your brain is made up of about 73% water. When your brain cells lose even a small amount of hydration, as little as 1 to 2%, your concentration drops. Your memory becomes less sharp. Your mood dips, anxiety increases, and reaction times slow down. Most people dealing with low energy, brain fog, and mood issues after 50 are not just getting older, they are running their brain on insufficient water, and they have no idea. I want to tell you about a woman I'll call Margaret. She was 63 years old, retired teacher, active her whole life, but in the last few years before she discovered this habit, she'd started feeling like her body was falling apart one piece at a time. Every morning she woke up with stiff knees. Getting out of bed took effort. By 10 in the morning, her energy was already dipping. She was drinking coffee before anything else, which she thought was fine. After all, coffee is mostly water, right? Her digestion had become unpredictable. Some days she felt bloated by noon for no obvious reason. Her skin had become drier. She was forgetting little things, where she put her keys, what she walked into a room to get. Her doctor checked everything. Blood work came back mostly fine. She was told it was just part of getting older. Take it easy, maybe take a supplement. And then a friend told her about this one simple morning habit. She was skeptical. Drinking water first thing in the morning? That was the big health secret? But she decided to give it a fair try. 30 days, every single morning, before coffee, before breakfast, before anything, she would drink water. Not a sip, a proper amount. And she would do it while still sitting quietly, not rushing. By day 5, she noticed her digestion had become more regular. That felt nice, but she figured it might just be coincidence. By day 12, the morning stiffness in her knees had noticeably decreased. She was getting out of bed more easily. She mentioned it to her husband, who was equally surprised. By day 20, something unexpected happened. She realized she had been waking up with more mental clarity. The fog that used to hang over her first hour of the day was lifting faster. She was remembering small things better. By day 30, Margaret told her friend that this had become the one habit she would never give up. Not because it was a miracle, but because the results were undeniable, consistent, and had cost her absolutely nothing. What happened to Margaret is not unique, and when you understand the mechanism behind it, it makes perfect sense. Now I want to give you a simple test you can do right now to see if morning dehydration might be affecting your body more than you realize. When you first wake up tomorrow morning before you drink anything, pay attention to these signs. Is your mouth dry and sticky? That is your first obvious signal. Do you feel a dull heaviness in your body, like your limbs are harder to move than they should be? That is your blood viscosity. It's thicker than it should be. Do you have any joint stiffness, particularly in your fingers, knees, or lower back, that tends to ease up after you've been moving for 30 to 45 minutes? That is your synovial fluid, the natural cushioning in your joints, running low after a night without hydration. Is your urine dark yellow or orange in the morning? The color of your first urine of the day is one of the most reliable indicators of your overnight hydration status. Pale yellow or nearly clear is what you are aiming for. Dark yellow or orange means your body has been working in a dehydrated state. Do you feel mentally foggy, slow to think, or emotionally flat in the first 30 minutes of your morning? This is your brain asking for water before anything else. If you noticed even 2 or 3 of those things, your morning hydration habit is not where it needs to be. And the good news is, this is one of the simplest things in the world to fix. So let's talk about exactly how to do this the right way, because there is a right way and it matters. The first thing to understand is that the amount of water matters. A small sip does very little. What you are aiming for is somewhere between 1.5 to 2 full glasses of water, roughly 400 to 500 milliliters, consumed in the first 15 minutes after you wake up, before you drink anything else, and before you eat. Now, if that feels like a lot at first, that is completely normal. Your stomach may not be used to it. Start with 1 glass and work up over the first week. There is no rush. The goal is consistency over 30 days, not perfection on day 1. The second thing to understand is the temperature of the water. Room temperature water, or slightly warm water, is significantly better than cold water on an empty stomach, especially for people over 50. Cold water can cause the stomach to contract and slow digestion rather than stimulate it. Warm or room temperature water absorbs faster and signals your digestive system to wake up gently. Some people add a squeeze of lemon to their morning water, and this is worth considering. Lemon provides a small amount of vitamin C, helps stimulate digestive enzymes, and can make the habit more enjoyable for people who find plain water hard to stomach first thing in the morning. However, lemon is optional. Plain water works beautifully on its own. What you want to avoid is drinking coffee first. I know this is hard for many people to hear. Coffee is a diuretic. It causes your body to lose water rather than retain it. If your first morning drink is coffee, you are actually increasing your dehydration before you've had a chance to fix it. Save the coffee for after your morning water. Even a 30-minute gap makes a meaningful difference. The third thing to understand is that this habit works best when paired with staying still for a few minutes after drinking. You don't need to do anything special. Just sit quietly for 5 to 10 minutes after your morning water. Allow your digestive system to begin its process without the competing demands of movement, eating, or rushing. Your body will direct the water where it's needed most efficiently when it's not also dealing with other inputs. If you want to enhance the effects even further, there are 2 simple additions that work beautifully with this habit. Adding a small pinch of natural salt, pink Himalayan salt or sea salt, to your morning water can improve electrolyte balance. This is particularly helpful for people who experience morning leg cramps, low blood pressure, or lightheadedness when standing. Salt helps your cells retain water properly, making the hydration more effective at the cellular level. And gentle movement after your morning water, even just 5 to 10 minutes of slow walking or light stretching, helps stimulate your lymphatic system, which relies entirely on muscle movement to circulate. This helps your body flush the overnight waste products more efficiently. Now let's talk about what you can realistically expect to notice, and when. In the first 3 to 7 days, most people notice changes in their digestion first. Morning bowel movements become more regular. Bloating decreases. This is your gut responding to the consistent morning hydration signal. Your digestive system is finally getting the moisture it needs to move properly. Some people also notice a reduction in morning headaches during this first week. Dehydration is one of the most common and underappreciated causes of regular headaches. When you start hydrating properly first thing, many of those headaches simply stop. Between days 7 and 14, the next layer of changes tends to emerge. Joint stiffness in the morning begins to ease. This is your body's synovial fluid replenishing more efficiently. People with knee pain, hip stiffness, or lower back tightness in the morning often notice that the transition from lying down to standing and moving becomes less uncomfortable. Energy in the first 2 hours of the morning also tends to improve during this phase. The mid-morning energy crash that many people experience, the one that sends them to the coffee machine again by 9:30 or 10, becomes less pronounced or disappears entirely. Between days 14 and 21, the changes become more systemic. Skin begins to look different, not dramatically, but noticeably. The dullness that comes from chronic dehydration starts to give way to a more natural glow. Skin feels less tight and dry. Fine lines around the eyes and mouth may appear softer. This is not a cosmetic trick. It is your skin cells receiving proper hydration from the inside. Cognitive clarity also improves during this phase for many people. That background mental fog, the one most people chalk up to aging, begins to lift. Concentration improves. Memory feels sharper. The morning emotional flatness that many older adults experience starts to resolve. Between days 21 and 30, many people describe a feeling that is hard to put into words. They feel more like themselves, less heavy, less slow, more resilient. Kidney function improves when the body is consistently well hydrated. Urine becomes lighter in color. The kidneys are able to filter more effectively, which means the body carries fewer circulating toxins at any given time. This has downstream effects on almost everything: your mood, your sleep quality, your inflammation levels, your immune response. Blood pressure can also shift during this period. Dehydration causes blood vessels to constrict and blood to thicken, both of which raise blood pressure. Consistent, well-timed hydration helps ease both of these factors. If you are monitoring your blood pressure at home, this is worth tracking over your 30 days. And by day 30, the cumulative effect of all these changes together tends to produce something that surprises most people. Not just better physical symptoms, but a different relationship with their body. A sense that their body is actually capable of responding, that it has not completely given up. That positive change is still possible. That feeling alone is worth everything. Now I have to be honest with you about something, because I believe in giving you the full picture. This morning water habit is powerful, but it is not a cure. And there are situations where you should speak with your doctor before making significant changes to your hydration habits. If you have kidney disease or have been told by a doctor to limit your fluid intake, please follow your doctor's guidance above anything you hear here. Drinking extra water when your kidneys are not functioning properly can cause problems, and this does not apply to you without medical supervision. If you take medications that are sensitive to hydration, particularly certain heart medications, diuretics, or blood pressure medications, be aware that improving your hydration can affect how those medications work. It's worth mentioning this habit to your doctor if you are on daily medications. If you have congestive heart failure or certain types of edema, excess fluid intake needs to be managed carefully under medical guidance. And if you notice any unusual symptoms after starting this habit, swelling, unusual fatigue, or changes in how you feel after taking medications, stop and speak with your doctor. For the vast majority of healthy adults over 50, drinking water first thing in the morning is completely safe, free, and genuinely transformative. But your individual health history matters, and your doctor is your partner in making these decisions. There is one more thing I want to say before we close. Most health problems we face after 50, the fatigue, the aches, the brain fog, the digestive issues, the skin changes, the emotional flatness, are not inevitable. They are not simply what aging looks like. Many of them are the accumulated result of years of small habits that we were never taught to question. Nobody ever told you to drink water before coffee. Nobody sat you down and explained what dehydration really does to a 60-year-old body. You were simply handed a cup of coffee and told to get on with your day, and you did, because everyone else was doing the same thing. But here's what I want you to hold on to. Your body is not finished responding. It is not past the point of change. Every single morning when you wake up, your body is ready to begin a new cycle. It is waiting for the signal, and the first signal it needs, the one that unlocks everything else, is water. Not a pill, not a supplement, not a procedure, water. On an empty stomach. Before the world starts pulling you in 100 directions. 30 days. That's all I'm asking you to give this. Not because someone told you to. Not because it's a trend. But because you deserve to know what your body is capable of when it finally gets what it's been asking for all along. Start tomorrow morning. Set your glass of water on your nightstand tonight. Let it be the first thing you reach for, and then pay attention, because your body will tell you everything you need to know.